Howdy again everyone, and today it's time to check out another new Nikon lens, the Z70 to 180mm f2.8. This is intended to be a lower budget, full frame, bright telephoto zoom lens for their mirrorless Z mount cameras, although at $1,250 US or £1,300 here in the UK, while it may be cheaper than a 70 to 200mm option, it's still pretty expensive. However, it does still have a few desirable tricks up its sleeve. Firstly, it's far smaller, lighter, and therefore more portable and less attention grabbing than a 70 to 200mm f2.8 lens, and at a weight of only about 800 grams or under 2 pounds, it's easy enough to carry around with you all day. And secondly, this thing has a fantastic macro feature, being able to get you very close to smaller subjects when shooting at 70mm. Neat! Although, of course, that 70 to 180mm focal length and f2.8 aperture still make it extremely useful for normal shooting, portrait shooting, wedding photography, journalistic, event, and, well, all kinds of different photography where you want to get a little bit of reach. I'd like to thank Nikon UK for loaning me this lens for a couple of weeks, although as usual this is a totally independent review. This lens's build quality certainly feels a little cheaper than Nikon's premium S line of lenses, but everything's still quite solid and well made here. The lens is based on a metal mount with a decent weather sealing gasket. In front of that comes the customizable manual focus ring, which turns smoothly and can be set to control other things through the camera's menu. Some good news about the focus system is that the lens only displays a small amount of focus breathing, whether you are zoomed in or zoomed out, as you can see. The lens's autofocus motor, while not instantaneous, is still quick, silent and accurate, as you can see here. It had no issues with subject tracking, eye detection or anything else like that in my tests. In front of that comes a broad rubberized zoom ring, and on my copy of the lens this was excellent. It turns really smoothly without any stickiness, evenly and just a little heavily. The lens's filter size is 67mm wide, and it comes with a slightly cheap feeling plastic hood. It does not feature image stabilization, but that's not really a big issue, as Nikon's cameras almost all have it built in nowadays. Overall, it's good build quality here, which befits a new mid-range Nikon lens. Okay, let's take a look at image quality then. I'll be testing it today on a full-frame Nikon Z7 camera with its 45MP sensor. In-camera corrections are turned on. At 70mm and f2.8, sharpness and contrast look excellent straight away in the middle. Corner image quality looks a bit softer. At f4 we see a small improvement, but at f5.6 those corners suddenly look excellent again, and f8 is even a touch sharper. The lens stays this sharp down to f16, where softness from the effects of diffraction is kicking in. Okay, let's zoom in halfway to 120mm. At f2.8 again we see excellent image quality in the middle, although contrast could be just a little better here. Again, corner image quality is softer, although not quite as bad as at 70mm. Again though, stop down to f4 for an improvement, but f5.6 looks excellent, and that's as sharp as the image gets at 120mm. Finally, let's zoom all the way into 180mm, and this is where we see the best performance overall. At f2.8 we're seeing great image quality in the middle, and virtually as good in the corners. f4 and f5.6 look just a touch brighter and punchier, and again the lens stays this sharp down to f11, but f16 is getting noticeably soft. Overall, I think the lens's optical quality gets away with its price tag, but only just. The lens is generally really sharp, although the corners are a little soft at bright apertures and wider angles, and sometimes the contrast could have been better, so this is exactly what you should be expecting from a mid-range lens. Okay, let's turn off those in-camera corrections and take a look at distortion and vignetting. At 70mm we see just a touch of barrel distortion and fairly strong vignetting at f2.8, but at f4 those corners brighten up. Zoom into 100mm and we're already catching some pincushion distortion, and at 180mm, whoa, what happened here? Keep your in-camera corrections turned on, please. At least if you stop down to f4 or f5.6, then the image corners brighten up. Alright, as I mentioned before, at 70mm this lens has a great close shooting distance of only 27cm, giving a 1:2 macro ability. At f2.8, that image is unfortunately very soft close up. f4 is better, f5.6 sharp, so if you are shooting close, stop down. Let's see how the lens works against bright light now. It's a surprisingly poor show here. Bright lights introduce quite a lot of glaring into the image with greatly lowered contrast, whether you're zoomed out or zoomed in. Next up, bokeh. I am pleased to report that this lens really has soft bokeh, even with difficult backgrounds and tricky transitional zones. And finally, related to bokeh comes longitudinal chromatic aberration. At f2.8 it's a little strong here, at f4 it's virtually gone, at f5.6 totally gone. Alright then, overall, in terms of its quality, the Nikon 70-180 is generally very good, but with a few niggles. Probably the only hyenas issue is its strong flaring. It's also not quite as sharp and contrasty as a premium 70-200mm lens, but it still produces great images in a small, lightweight package which you can actually carry around with you all day without it tiring your arms out. Nearly $1,300 is a pretty premium price for a lens that's just good, so I would put this lens under the banner of nice but overpriced. But its users will be pleased with its results and overall shooting experience, so if you have the cash, it does come recommended. Thanks for watching, everyone. This lens seems somehow familiar. I had a mysterious sense of deja vu testing it out. Anyway, special thanks to all my Patreon supporters who are making a huge difference to me keeping this channel trucking on. Check it out in the description below, and supporters get all kinds of exclusive bonus features. Ciao for now, everyone.